Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. It is not about nukes. It is not about Iran. So what the hell is going on that's now thrusting us towards World War III? This started a while ago. The tariff war crippled China's economy. Millions, tens of millions of Chinese are unemployed. Companies are going under, stuff is not being traded. The Chinese are now trying to dump all their surplus goods on the European Union, and a lot of them are not having it. Round two of crippling China's economy. 80 to 90% of Chinese oil comes from Iran. A couple years ago, the Chinese government made a deal with the Iranian government, a $400 billion deal where they would invest in Iran, and in return, that money would be paid back in oil. Oil that China desperately needs now if they're going to keep their economy and their military running. So if you wanted to take out China, if you wanted to remove them from the equation, one, totally screw over their economy, and two, remove their military, because I don't care what Jennifer Granholm or any of these dumbasses say about a future EV-based military. It's never going to happen. Every military on the planet depends on oil. So if you want to remove probably one of the largest standing armies on the planet, remove the oil, because they're not going to be able to do shit. So that is what this is all about. There's no nukes. If there are nukes, if Iran does have a nuke, I can tell you right now where the hell they got it from. Cargo planes from China had flown into Tehran. What was on those cargo planes? Nobody has any damn clue. And the transponders for these planes were shut off before they even went into Iranian airspace. Cargo manifest? Non-existent. What we do know is that somehow Iran got their hands on, not intercontinental, but what, mid-range ballistic missiles, the type that could actually hold a nuclear warhead if they were to somehow, I don't know, have one handed over to them. Pakistan has already stated that if Israel does a nuclear strike on Iran, that they would do a nuclear strike on Israel. Pakistan. Now, I've always often wondered, why is it if Iran really wanted to get their hands on a nuke, why would they not just go to neighboring Pakistan and say, hey, you know, you've got like, what, 150-ish warheads? Could you spare one to a brother? Why wouldn't you just already get one from somebody else? And perhaps because the Chinese, they're not exactly too comfy with telling people as to what they have. If the Chinese were to just sleight of hand one over to Iran, I mean, after all, aren't we saying that's what they have, is nukes? Would anybody really be surprised at this point? Aside from our government, who knows that Iran doesn't have any. Who would be surprised? The people who are actually listening to our government, oh, Iran's going to get a nuke, they're going to build a bomb. If one was to go off, one, our government would be shocked knowing that Iran was never even close to having a nuke, and two, they would immediately know that one was handed over to them. And they would be really, really wanting to point the finger at whoever it was, China, that was handing over this weapon system, this equipment over to Iran. That would be the big shocking surprise, was an actual nuke going off that Iran detonated. Because we know damn well Iran doesn't have any damn nukes. And the only reason we're going into Iran now, and this is the other part of the story. The only reason we're going into Iran now is to secure their oil. Because, like I said, a standing army needs oil. And if we're going to be the world police, we need oil. Why are we choosing now? 15, 20 years ago, fracking became a very big thing in the United States. The thing with fracking is that those wells, the systems that we drill that extract that fracked oil out of the ground, they only last about 15 years. And it was announced a couple weeks ago that all of the fracking fields that we have in the United States are at peak, which means steady decline from here on out. Now, for a while, we were one of the lead exporters of oil across the world because of our fracking. There's no new fracking sites. That was something that people really should have realized when Biden went ahead and decided that we're not going to have any new leases on these fracking sites. We're not going to do any more oil fields. Why was nobody grabbing up those leases, the ones that all of a sudden they're shutting down, they're no longer allowing anybody to have? Because there was no oil there. They would send out their test groups, they would do their surveys, they would figure out whether or not there's anything worth drilling for. And those tests would come back negative. We have not had any new fracking fields found about 15 years. And the sites that have already been drilled, they're starting to dry up. So if our new fields, the ones that kept us on the world stage for the last 20 years, are drying up, looks like we need to find some new fields. Maybe secure some oil somewhere else. Iran's sounding pretty good right now, isn't it? Interesting that all of a sudden they're getting their nukes. And why is it? Why is it that Donald Trump and Elon Musk had that feud a little while ago? I have a feeling it has nothing to do with the big beautiful bill. I have a feeling it has everything to do with what is happening right now. Why would Elon Musk point out that Trump is on the Epstein list during their little spat? Has nothing to do with budgets. It has nothing to do with Doge. It has to do with learning that we're going to war with Iran, that the Israeli government has information on Donald Trump, which is why he's just all over Netanyahu's knob. Notice whatever Netanyahu wants lately, Trump just kind of goes along with it. And I don't know who exactly was an operative for the Israeli government. Epstein was. So yeah, my guess is they have dirt on Trump. My guess is Elon Musk said, this is an absolutely god-awful, horrible idea for us to go to war with Iran. It's not worth it. And yet Trump is like, I diddled some kids. What do you want me to do? This whole situation is effed to the uct, and dear God, it has absolutely nothing to do with nukes. Nothing whatsoever. Has everything to do with securing the oil, taking China out of the equation. And quite frankly, if they can get China out of the equation, the only thing left after that would be Russia. Because Russia would become the number one supplier of oil to China, which makes China indebted to Russia, which they don't really want to do. That's why they've been trading with Iran for so long. They like having their options open. This is why they make all these connections in Africa and all these other different places across the globe. They don't want to be indebted to one other country. But that's basically what the US is forcing China to do at the moment. Become indebted to their next door neighbor, which is not a good situation for either one of them. And notice how all these strategic planning, all the attacks, all the things that are going on right now between Ukraine and Russia, Israel and Iran. Funny how all these things happen like not that long after Trump took office, right? Remember, what was it? The Russian bombers that were all taken out? Just out of nowhere, Russian bombers were hit. Like most of their fleet taken out of the equation by Ukraine. Interesting how that happened. And it's almost the exact same story that happened between Israel and Iran. What if we just built the drones in Iran and flew them in Iran? Funny. I seem to believe that Ukraine did the exact same thing when they took out all of those bombers, the nuclear fleet. No, this situation is screwed. Trump's compromised. I'll say it. He's fucking compromised. Israel has him by the nutsack. And this all might somehow work out. I don't see it happening. You could have Iran that just basically shuts down the Straits of Hormuz. Gas is $6, $7, $8, maybe more per gallon. The entire economy shuts down. Things are going to get whacked. And not like Iranian generals whacked. No. Things are going to get really wacky. Oh, man. $400 billion. Think China's going to come to us asking for compensation on that investment? They're pulling out all of their people from Iran. Any Chinese that are in Israel, any Chinese that are in Iran are ordered to evacuate immediately, regardless of their investments, of their plans. No, China right now, this might be the smartest strategy that someone could have come up with in order to fight China. Between the tariffs, which shut down everything, and now the loss of oil. 90% of Iranian oil is sold to China because of the tariffs. And China depends on that in order to keep their economy and their military running. And the damnedest thing is, if China decided that they're going to invade Taiwan, there's no real benefit to it. I mean, what would the benefit be? Taiwan doesn't have oil. Strategically, if you were to lose your power source for your military and then you just use your military to invade, wouldn't you be trying to compensate for the loss of something else? And then there's the question of whether or not China's just going to shut down the rare earth minerals, the chip manufacturing, you know, the stuff that we depend on to keep our military going. It's a good question. I mean, would they invade Taiwan just to shut down our rocket systems, our night vision goggles, our jets, our helicopters? I remember when the Iraq War was going on and it was announced that, like, yeah, you know, all the electronic equipment and our Apache helicopters and all of our jets, oh, that's all manufactured in China. Because that's smart. No, we are, we're screwed. And I think that there's a good likelihood, chance, possibility, there's really good odds those cargo planes might have been dropping off the one thing that we keep screaming Iran has. That's a very real possibility. And then what are we going to do afterwards? Be like, well, we know it was you. No, you said they had that. But did you die? Yeah, quite a few of our people died. We'll fuck around and find out. Yeah, no, I think China was possibly planning several steps ahead. Several. Like how they're able to fly, if we really did have air superiority, how is it they're able to fly in those cargo planes with nothing happening? So anyways, that is my thoughts on the current situation. A good chunk of the information that I've been able to collect and figure out over the last several days as to what the is going on. And it is not a good picture. So, hope your gas tank is topped off. You got some MRE stashed away. A nice heat source for this winter, which could be long and dark. Maybe buy a typewriter, because you might not have anything else to type out on if things go dark. Keep on typing.